This video is the installation of the SwedeTech CR125 Coil Mount for the primary cover. We also have a coil mount that mounts to the intake, but that will be a separate video. Again, this is for the primary mounted coil mount. And our kit, as you can see in front of you, it includes the spark plug cap, the plug wire, the ground wire, the coil mount itself, and all the needed hardware. We actually go with longer bolts for the cases, so that way you have the right amount of bolt into the threads. Tools needed for this project will include a 4mm Allen, 10mm wrench, 8mm socket, electrical tape, and WD-40. And for ease of presentation, and so you don't have to watch us do a lot of work, we're going to use an impact wrench to take some of the hardware off. In the primary mount, it's going to mount off of these two screws, and then the ground wire is going to mount off of this screw. So you can get rid of the OEM bolts and use our bolts. Now, in the event that you're using some of the stainless steel aftermarket silencer hangers, when you mount everything up, make sure you get enough threads into the case. You might have to use some washers or spacers for the mount itself, so that way you don't put your mount in a bind, or the silencer mount in a bind. And the first step is to remove the existing plug wire out of the coil, and inside the coil there's a little nail type, we're trying to show you here, a nail stud that is right hand threaded, so the plug wire will thread into the plug wire itself. We prefer to use a little bit of WD-40 to help facilitate lubrication, and it minimizes the bind between two different rubbers. Now, when you receive the kit does not have the plug cap pre-installed, so it is important to use a little bit of WD-40 on the plug cap itself. And so now we're going to attach the primary wires coming off the stator to the coil. This is a great time to inspect the connections. Give each little end a healthy little yank to make sure that the connection on the wire itself is solid. Then you're going to plug it into the coil, and we prefer to use electrical tape to secure the wires to the coil to help minimize the vibration. And the next step is to remove all the hardware from the kit. And you're going to secure the coil to the coil mount with our supplied hardware. So we supply one bolt for each side, a spring washer, and a nut. So the nut's going to be a 10mm wrench, and the Allen bolts are going to be a 4mm Allen. And then when you do this application, don't forget the ground wire. I've put a few of these on myself, and I always forget the ground wire. Now, when you tighten the bolts to the case, you want to use 7 to 8 foot-pounds of torque, no more, or you will strip the threads out of your case. And you could use approximately the same amount to mount the coil to the coil mount itself. Now, while you do this, you want to double check all your wires. Make sure you have clearance. You don't want to route it in a manner that allows the wires to rub on the exhaust pipe or a hose clamp or any other hardware that may cut through the insulation and into the wire. And when you install the ground strap, make sure the wire or the ground strap is not running in front of your pulse line fitting. And you're going to snug the bolts to 7 foot-pounds. The plug wire we provided is going to be the right length. And there you have it. That is the SwedeTech CR125 Coil Mount mount it off the primary cover.